it's just Martine, and it's time for a Dollar Tree book haul. Getting books from the Dollar Tree is one of my passions. I love it so much. I love finding a good deal there. I love finding some weird stuff I've never heard of before, and I love saving money. Fun fact, the books I'm about to haul with you, I actually bought over winter break. It is now the end of April, and I had originally taken some footage of the books and then was going to do this weird thing where I like edited over it. But now I'm back home for a while, so I decided I'd just do it the normal way. So I've got, I think, 13 books to walk through with you, and I haven't looked at these books for like 3.5 months, so it's gonna be a bit of a rehaul, a surprise moment for me in which I discover what I bought all those many moons ago. We're not gonna go in any particular order, and some of these books do have kind of sad stories behind them, but make sure you stay tuned all the way until the end to see how much money I saved by purchasing these books at the Dollar Tree instead of at their full retail price. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. We're going to start with a sci-fi book set in the 1990s, and that is The Terranauts by T.C. Boyle. Starting off with a sad story, this used to be like a perfect condition book, and it got a bit smashed up in some movement around my room, but that's okay. I'm sure the book is still great. It basically seems to be a societal commentary, which, you know, I love. And it's about this group of Terranauts who are selected to live in a prototype colony because climate change is threatening Earth, and so we need to find a way to stay alive on other planets. So they've made this type of colony, and they want to see if it works and what happens when we put people into it. So they select some people, and they are put in this thing, and they are the Terranauts. I don't know, the premise seemed interesting to me. The copyright is 2016, and this book was originally $16.99. It's also deceptively long. Like, it's just a floppy paperback, an epically floppy paperback, I might add, but it's well over 400 pages. Oh, no, it goes over 500 pages. It's over 500 pages long, and you couldn't tell it by looking at it, but I don't know. These are some thin pages. Next, we're taking a leap from science fiction to historical fiction, and that is with The Royal Governess by Wendy Holden, which is basically a book set in the 1930s about a woman who accepts the job of tutoring the princesses. So as it says, it's a novel of Queen Elizabeth II's childhood. Historical fiction is like not one of my favorite types of fiction, but this seemed like an interesting twist on it. And when it comes to the Dollar Tree, when a book is only $1.25, I am a lot more willing to pick up books that are outside of my comfort zone than I were if it was a full-priced book. So I did absolutely pick this up. The copyright for this book is 2020, and it was originally $17. Next, we're moving to our first hardcover book of the batch, which is Goulash, which I think is a very pretty book. It's another historical fiction, technically, set in 1998 in the Czech Republic, and it's just about these two characters, I guess, in the Czech Republic. I don't know much else about it, but it looked interesting. It looked to be in great condition, so I said, why the heck not? The copyright for this book was 2019, and it was originally a whopping $24.95. Next up, I have In the Valley by Ron Rash, which is technically, I believe, a series of stories based on this author's best-selling book, which I have not read and don't have access to, so you're probably like, why did you buy this? I don't know, I like a short story collection. As much as it's supposed to complement the existing book, it does say here that the novella in this one is a standalone novella. Basically, we're just going back to the character from the book, so you don't have to have read the book to understand it. It refers to the character as an Appalachian Lady Macbeth, which just seems super interesting to me. And then all of the stories seem to be basically allegories for our time. And so I don't think it's necessary to have read the best-selling book to get something out of this collection. At least that's my hope. Also, I thought it was pretty. The copyright for this book is 2020, and it was originally $26.95. Next, I had a really exciting find, which was A Wild Winter Swan by Gregory Maguire. I've read several Gregory Maguire books before, one of which I gave 5 stars. So when I had the opportunity to pick up another one for only $1.25, I was like, absolutely. Plus, this cover is really pretty. There's like this cutout, and it's like a snow globe. And then under the cover is this really interesting cityscape. And like most of Gregory Maguire's work, there's a focus on retelling or respinning a certain popular, really old story. So in this one, it's Hans Christian Andersen's The Wild Swans. It's told in a story that's set in the 1960s in New York, so it seems like my historical fiction streak is just continuing to go up in this. I was really excited to find this. Its copyright is 2020, and it's originally worth $27.99. Moving on to a little bit of a theme for a few books, I have The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock, which is this beautiful paperback, although it has deckled edges, which I hate. It's another historical. It's set in 1785, but it's about this dude who sold a ship for a mermaid. That's all I know, and that's all I need to know, frankly. The copyright for this was 2018, and it was originally $16.99. Continuing on with the theme of the ocean, I have The Sea Queen, another great paperback, no deckled edges this time, which is a huge win. So pleasantly floppy. And this one has characters whose names I cannot pronounce, but it's supposed to be a Viking saga, which caught my attention. And it's about this woman who seems to have escaped her marriage to join the Vikings on their explorations, which, if that doesn't interest you, I don't know what will, frankly. The copyright for this book was also 2018, and it was originally $16.99. Yes. So these two books have a lot in common. Ocean, 2018, $16.99. Next, I have a bit of an eclectic find. It's a Christian nonfiction called Mary Magdalene Never Wore Blue Eyeshadow, and it's basically all about these stories that we think we knew and what we don't know about them. I love reading these types of books. I find them very interesting. There's always a lot of context that I don't have for these really big, famous stories, and I thought its name was clever. I don't know. The copyright for this book was 2019, and it was originally $15.99. Next, we have Everyone Knows How Much I Love You, which I think is a thriller? Yeah, it's about the dark side of female friendship. It's about this woman who's writing this book about her best friend, but then the line between fiction and real life starts to blur in like a very dangerous way, I guess. Honestly, it's really hard to describe these books because not only has it been months since I've seen them, but also when I do pick out books from the Dollar Tree, I often see like one or two keywords and then grab them. The copyright for this book was 2020, and it was originally $27. Next, we have a mystery thriller, Something Wicked, which seems to be about a cult. So there's like a cult and then a double homicide and all this stuff. So it just seemed like a good general mystery fiction book. It also feels really nice to hold. I cannot explain it. The copyright for this was 2013, so I think it's maybe the oldest in this batch, and it was originally $9.99. And now we're moving into the contemporary books, not all the romance, but just contemporary. We're moving into the contemporary books, and we're starting with Heart and Soul, which is about this girl. She was adopted when she was born, I think. She doesn't really know anything about where she came from, and one day she decides to go to Seoul and basically search for her family. And there she goes through all the makings of a classic K-drama, apparently. So it looked cute, and it was $1.25. The copyright for this book is 2021. I think it's maybe the newest of these books. There's another 2021 coming up, but 2021 is the latest it goes, basically. And it was originally $16. Our second to last book is Eliza Starts a Rumor, which is about this woman and her twins go to college, and so she gets really invested in this online posting thing, but then a lot of people seem to misinterpret her post and things get kind of crazy. Apparently it's laugh out loud funny, which I could always use. And it was blurbed by Emily Henry, whose books I love. The copyright for this book was 2020, and it was originally $17. And finally, we have Makeup Breakup, which this is the really sad story. My room flooded at some point this semester when my hometown got some really crazy rains, and this book gave its life so that the other books might live because she got some water damage. Luckily, my mom came, saved it, dried it out, but she's crinkly and broken. But that's okay. I'll still love her, I guess. Just holding this book will be less pleasant than if it hadn't been ruined, but I'm glad it's still readable at least. And this one seems to be a second chance romance. It's blurbed by Casey McQuiston, which is great. And it's about these two people. The girl has an app that is for helping people in relationships, and the guy has an app that facilitates breakups for some reason. Anyway, and they seem to get involved. So her app is makeup, his is breakup, makeup, breakup. That's the deal. The tagline is, she fixes people up, he breaks them apart. What chance do they have together? And aside from the water damage, it looks really cute. This was also a 2021 release, and it was originally $16.99. So those are all the books I got. Let's talk about money. So I bought a total of 13 books for $1.25 each, which means that without taxes, I spent $16.25. But if you add the retail worth of all the books together, they're worth $250.83. The average price per book, therefore, was $19.29. So this whole haul cost me less than the average of one of these books, which is crazy because the average was about 19, but I paid like 16. And in total, I saved $234.58. So let me know down below which of these books strikes your interest. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more bookish and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!